Alright, so begins maths class number 5. So I have to share the link with those in the group. Show people at the gate, chipping at the gate. So send the link. Anybody see the link? So once again, you know what to do as if you're watching this video. You need to skip ahead maybe about a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes, when the real thing starts. So, oh, why is it going underneath that name? I have the wrong name here. That's not the name of this. So I just need to set the name. Oh gosh. So y'all, I might just go over 7 o'clock here. I'm going into 7:01 because I'm just fixing something here. This name should be maths number 5. Maths class 5. Consumer arithmetic. Alright, we're cooking the Ramco Gasly. So refresh that. Good. Share. Copy link. Paste into the group. Boom. That's one. Paste into the other group. Boom. That's 2. So we live and direct. Once say inside, type Y. Once say inside, type Y. So in today's class, good night Mario. Today's class, reminding y'all, we continuing with consumer arithmetic. In today's class, we may actually do some past papers as well, because we're starting to reach where we could do past papers in these questions. In next week's class, when we finish consumer arithmetic, most likely we'll be finished consumer arithmetic next week. In next week class, we'll be doing past papers at the end, and the following week we'll be doing past papers at the end, so we could just get the whole of number 1 down. So within 4 weeks, we finish the whole of number 1. That's a long thing. Within the next 4 weeks, we should finish the whole of number 2 as well, which is our next big. That's the next big thing. Actually, it took us 5 or 6 weeks to finish the whole of number 1. So it will take us about 5 or 6 weeks to finish the whole of number 2 as well. So when you finish consumer arithmetic and algebra, foundations in maths will be good. In terms of arithmetic, consumer arithmetic, algebra, everything there, that first question 1 and question 2 is a big chunk of your mathematics. It filters into everything, making sure you have good understanding of that. So today's class, we'll be doing some consumer arithmetic. I'll be looking at the homework review. Oh my gosh, I forgot to snap pictures. Homework review. The simple interest. The homework was done nicely. Simple interest is our homeboy for today. Simple interest, compound interest. I'll be teaching compound interest one way today. Appreciation and depreciation. I want to try and I'll be speeding a little bit here, guys. Appreciation and depreciation, but you can always stop me. Appreciation and depreciation. And currency conversion. So hopefully we get all of these done today. Currency conversion. So good night, Lisa, Tyrese, Misha, Cheryl, Christian, Jody, Danny. Right, so we see the usual suspects here. I want to encourage you all and congratulate all of you all who are here, 13 viewers already, for making the July and August grind. It's tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna get tougher. Every now and then we get more and more people in the maths. Some people who can't make the maths or decided not to do the maths again will drop out. People who decided to do it will come in. Those who come in, they get to see the old lives as well, but they won't get to see it live, obviously, because it passed. So those of y'all who's sticking out and going through the season, although the exam not close and you're not really feeling any need, why really go and watch this 2 hours video now, go to lessons now, and sticking through. I just want to congratulate you. Your reward will be with you next year. So and as you know, it always happens in all my lessons. When next year arrives, the class will balloon around the exam season. But the best thing is to start early and get down these foundational pieces early. After we finish consumer arithmetic, algebra, we'll be going into construction, as drawing and stuff like that. Then we'll be swinging into either statistics or matrices. We're looking to finish at about 60-70% of the syllabus before Christmas. During the Christmas holidays, I just letting y'all know as the plan. During the Christmas holidays, there will be 1 or 2 crash courses where I will be doing off the whole syllabus, and you all will receive the links for that as well at no additional price. People who join the crash course will have to pay, who join the crash course fresh, because during that time a whole set of people will demand, the classes will be in demand. So during that time there will be crash courses, so you'll get the benefit of seeing the whole syllabus there, like in a speed version, and then we'll start back the grind after January, and we'll be going weekly. So brace yourself. During the Christmas holidays there'll be 1 or 2 crash courses where I'll do the entire syllabus. There will be some long sessions like 4 hour, 12 hours, run through the entire syllabus using past papers and quick notes. Alright, so let's get some homework review down whilst I'm looking for this. So any questions regarding how the pacing of the classes, any questions on anything actually? So right now, oh my gosh, I forgot to add 1 person to the group. So we're looking at the homework for directed numbers, profit and loss and hire purchase, instructions. This is it here. I already went through already gave the solutions, so I don't think there was anything too complicated about this. The homework was done well. Find the exact value. As I told you all, I'm getting some assistant teachers, because my aim is to try and have, this is going to be tough because there's about 50 people active in the class and about 40 people consistently hand up homework. About 40, between 30 and 40 people consistently hand up their homework on time and stuff like that. So I want sometimes there's like an individual problem. I see the homework and I message the person, but it's a lot to check. So if there's an individual problem, I want you to get the corrections and that individual help as well. But to do that, I'll have to have like 2 or 3 assistants just working with me to speed up the process. During the holidays, I might be able to do it by myself, but I still want to work along and train some assistants, teachers with me to do that. So that could be a bonus service that you're going to get there as well, so look out for that. And I think that will help some people in just little areas. Like some people, just some things I just want to tell them, and I didn't tell them yet, like where you phrase your stuff, they can be better. So just pay attention to how I do the solutions. When I do the solutions, I try to do them in different ways so that you see different acceptable statement techniques that you could use. Anybody have any significant problem they want me to pull out in the homework? I did some revision in worksheet 2 where I talk about significant figure standard notation. I didn't see 1 person get it wrong. Everybody got it, signs and everything. Everybody who hand up got that correct. There are some problems, some minor problems in the consumer arithmetic, but I think based on what I sent with the solution, you could figure out anything. So if no problems, I didn't see anybody say anything, type Y in the chat if we could continue, or if there's a specific question you want me to review from the homework. I think I made 1 mistake in a subtraction and somebody pointed that out to me, so the corrections was given in the WhatsApp group so everybody could have seen the correction. So everybody good with the homework? Seeing them Y's popping up from the usual suspects. I call this group the usual. So that is all of them is the usual suspect. Christian, Jill, Danny, Seema, Sherelle, Liz. I normally Debbie can normally get homework from all their first. Some people they send me homework in hours after I send the homework. Pow! I see it pop back up already. Like whoa! I'm just waiting at the gates to do this homework. Some people is wait for midnight. 11 o'clock in the night and 11 o'clock in the night and poop, I see homework now sent from some people. Are you good? Yes. Alright, but once it's sent before the time, and if you send it after the time, it'll get marked down as late. I need you to review 7. 7? What 7 you're talking about? There was a number 7. Show what happens on a number line. Yes, that's true. I skipped that one. Yeah. I see all kind of weird things with this one. That's true. I see all kind of weird things with this one. Pray for me to do homework. Some people need anointing and oil and things just to do the homework. This is thanks for showing pointing out that one as well. And if anybody else have any other one they want me to look at, let me know. This is one that had a problem because I never really teach this. I teach the concept of this during a class very quickly, but I never really go down on this question. I see people do all kind of things for this question here. Let me just hide this calculator. But this question here, show what happens on a number line when you add 5 to negative 3 and subtract 7 from 1. So show what happens there. I see all kind of things for this. Things that accepted and things that no, don't do that. So just to explain, and I know you all would have seen this solution, so most people would have been able to, this is the way you're supposed to do it, right? You draw a number line and you're always watching this number, the second number, and or the number that you're starting off on. You add 5 to negative 3, so you mean you start off on negative 3, and you're going to add 5 to that negative 3. You start off on the negative 3 and you add 5 to it. So what we need to do is look, and in my mind I already see negative 3 add 5. I already get an idea of where I should put things now. So I'll put my 0 about here. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. I know I want to start off here, and I'm going to add 5 to it. So in my mind I already know you're going to stop at 2, and you should too as well. You can check it on your calculator. They can ask you to show this, and you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because if we add in, we're going in positive direction. So we add 5 to negative 3, and then you come here and you say negative 3 plus 5 is equal to the number 2. When we do inequalities, you'll see our next way this number line actually comes into play. So type Y in the chat if you understand what's going on here. If they said, if like they say show what's 4? Show 4 take away 6, it means you need to start on the 4 and take away 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's your answer. And you write take away 6 here. So 4 take away 6 is negative 2. So that's how you're using number line to solve questions involving directed numbers. I don't know why my green screen skipping so tonight, but the class must go on. I didn't get a chance to really fix up. Like last week the screen was working perfectly, but now you're actually ghosting out and you're seeing through me and thing every now and then. So it is me, it's not a ghost. Let's move on. So ready to move on there. So this one was the other way and I explained that just now. Simple interest. From primary school we are told that simple interest is equal to principal by rate. Rate is normally common R. Sometimes they put capital R. It's not the most detrimental thing if they put capital R. Time is normally common as well. It's not the worst if you put capital T. Like most maths teachers, I see put principal by rate, by time, over 100, capital everything. If you're accustomed with that, let that float your boat. It's not going to kill you. The proper thing is common for the R and the T. P stands for principal, like principal, 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 Principal. All of a sudden, I'm very unsure how to spell principal here. Oh my gosh, I missed 6 minutes. Hard luck there, see, man. Alright, so principal. Forget that spelling there for now, yeah, people. I think that is spelling there, but I could be wrong. But it's a maths class, not English class. Rate, and T here stands for time. The 100 stands for 100. The SI stands for simple interest, right? Simple interest. So simple interest is principal by rate by time over 100. Now we're going to go through this, and you will see that in the beginning they just want you to find the simple interest. Then they will want you to find something called the amount, and I'm going to give you the formula for that. Then they're going to want you to find the rate. Then they're going to want you to find the principal. Then they're going to want you to find the time. They can ask you a question to find any one of those variables. So you need to be prepared to find any one of those variables. So for the formula, people, get ready to shine. Those who taking notes, which should be everybody taking some form of notes. First note there. The second note is the amount. The amount, your final amount. This term amount usually stands for, not usually, always stands for the simple interest, or in some cases compound interest, which we come into, plus the principal. So the simple interest plus the principal. And I just given you formulas, and then we're going to talk about the concept. Next 3 formulas you need to know. For formula people, this is your time to shine. Formula people, time to shine. The principal is going to be equal to the simple interest times 100 over the other 2 guys. The rate is going to be equal to the simple interest times 100 over the other 2 guys. The time is going to be equal to this. You see the pattern? Simple interest times 100 over the other 2 guys. What do I mean by other 2 guys? Remember, it was principal, rate, and time is the 3 things. Rate and time. Since rate here, I have to put principal and time. Since time here, I have to put principal and rate. So some people like to memorize off these formulas. I don't really memorize off these formulas. If you're not a memorizing a formula person, but you're a more logic person, you could actually just use this one formula, and as you rearrange the formula to find the missing term, bam, you will get the answer, right? So if algebra good, you don't really need to memorize off these formulas. I can tell you for a fact, I did not memorize these formulas back when I do CXC and I got distinction, right? But some people, these formula really help to just get a nice neat working to structure yourself one time. So no shame if you're pulling out the formula. In fact, that's good if you're using the formula as well. So principal, rate, time, amount. So that's the equation. Alright, so let me talk about the concept. What is this concept of interest? This is the concept of interest. It's so good to use a digital board, because like when I make a mistake and not get the title sent, I could just okay, I'm talking too fast. I could just copy this thing here and drag it back and put them in the center. So boom, right? So concept of interest. The concept of interest works like this. You borrow $100 from your neighbor. So most people know this works. You borrow $100 from your neighbor, and you're getting problems of paying back all the turning enemies every time you're watching them bad thing, he watching you bad with my money thing, you saying why you're rushing me. So all they decide to, since you is a Brooks man, to just pay me back in a little bit now, boy. So he decide to pay back in $10 sets. Alright, let's use 20 so that it will take longer. Every month you give me 20. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Bam. Within 5 months, you pay off the 100. Right? So that's how the normal form of payment will work. Simple interest is a little different. Your neighbor say, well, since you pay me back a little bit by a little bit, so you messing up my money. So I get a privilege, just pay me back 25 every month instead now. And it's the same 5 months. In other words, he had done a little $5 interest on you. Just for the fact that you don't want to pay him off the lump sum, you put on a little $5. So can you explain it over, please? I don't know why you want me to explain over. Because it have a delay now. So just let me know, Sima, where you want exactly you want me to explain over. As you say it, I'll explain it, right? So I'm saying instead of paying him $20, you pay him $25 and you add on that $5 onto the 20. So that $5 is your interest. Now there's your interest every month. Your interest every month is $5 from when he borrowed the money. Okay, oh, this whole concept of interest here. So the concept of interest works like this. You borrow 100 from a person. Excuse me for those kind of stuff there because I don't know why. So you borrow 100 from a person. The logical thing to do is pay the people back the money, 100, right? But if you can't pay back, like if it's a big amount of money, not 100, but just using the 100 as the example, they could allow you to pay it off in parts. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. After 5 months, you reach 100. But in the real world, it don't work like that. They will add on a little extra on the 20. So every month you're paying back 25 instead. So it means every month you add in on a little interest of $5. Right? So the interest is $5. At the end, when you add up all of this, you will notice that you actually pay him 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. 5 5s are, you paid him an additional $25. In all, you paid him $125. This here, this value, in maths we call this value the amount. So the amount you paid him was $125. We call this value here your principal. What going on my pen, Mike? We call this value here the principal. Please, Lord, I hope I'm spelling principal correct. So the first value is the principal. The final value you pay back with the interest is the amount. Do you remember the equation I said? The amount is the simple interest plus the principal. So what if I extract out the simple interest here? The simple interest extracted out of that. If I squeeze out the interest, you immediately know you pay him $25 extra, right? For some reason my pen playing the fool. Let me just use my finger for that while I get the pen rest. So $25 extra. Everybody understand that? If you understand that, why is in the chat? It's important I understand the concepts and these things so that when they switch up the question, yeah. Normally I wouldn't really teach too much about the concepts. I'll just teach the whole method of the question, blah 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 blah, and let you go along. But I want you to get appreciation of the concept because CXC maths is getting a little different. So the interest is $25. Now, where does the term rate and time? What about rate and time? Rate and time. Rate is the percentage that the interest is. It's the percentage that the interest is. What does that mean? Okay, let me show you. So, like how much you really supposed to pay back a month? You're really supposed to pay back 20, right? But you supposed to pay back this 20. Go and give him that 20 every month, but the man say he will back 25. So you're really adding on a $5 interest. That $5 over how much you're supposed to pay will give you a fraction, and if you multiply it by 100, it will give you a percentage. So that 5 over 20 is actually a quarter of 20. That's actually 25%. It means that your rate is 25%. The rate is telling you how much extra you paying as a percentage of your installments or as a percentage of your final sum. You understand? So the rate is the percentage of how much you have, you need to pay back. The rate gives a percentage wise of the interest. So that helps in terms of if it doesn't matter what the number is, you already know how much your interest is going to be. For example, if I borrow $200 and my interest is 8% of that, I could work out 8% of 200. 8% of 200 is actually $16. So I know that my interest is going to be $16. My rate of the interest is 8%. Now, that's just a little bit of the idea in rate. Rate also carries a little bit of time involved in it, because rate repeats every year. You must give in that 8%. Rate is usually per annum. Every year you must cough out that extra percentage. So we reach about the time where we could do a question. We can investigate a question. So let me make up a question. Find the simple interest, and those who understand it could rush the question one time as soon as they start to see the numbers. Find the simple interest accrued. Let me just use some big words here. Oh gosh, pen, don't do me that today, man. But I think my pen getting on so because I just came off of an Arithmetic class for 2 hours. Whew, that was a grilling class, but it was real fun. Oh gosh, this tip of this pen break. I have a next pen here. Let me see if this one decides to play the fool. Alright, then find accrued. I hope I'm spelling accrued correct here. Using the people big words, I don't know how to spell it. Find the simple interest accrued on a loan. So simple interest could work with either a loan or it could work in the reverse, like if you invest in. So I'll talk about that just now. Of let's say $500. So this pen playing the fool too. 500 finger fate. $500. Find the simple interest accrued on a loan of $500 after 4 years if the rate is they use the same 8% now. So you'll normally see rates between 8 and 15%. 8% per annum. There is the word they use, which just means per year, per annum. So go ahead and find this question. Find the simple interest accrued on a loan of $500 after 4 years if the rate is 8% per annum. So why some people doing it, I just want to explain the concept before I do it myself, which is just very easy to do. You just use the formula. Bam, big man, then get the answer ready. So what this is really telling us, every year you borrow $500. Every year, 8% of that $500 is added on to the $500. Yeah, I just wanted this simple interest question, so it look like that number that you give me there is actually the amount. So the B actually gave the simple interest, maybe I didn't check the question yet. So every year 8% of the $500 is added on to the $500. So the longer you take is the more interest accruing. Now it doesn't, simple interest, it doesn't really work like that in real life. It really works in compound interest because you start to pay off the money and it gets decompounded or compounded if it's going up in terms of like if you're investing. Alright, so for this kind of question you don't even need to know all about simple interest. You just write basically simple interest, principal by rate by time over 100. I just think my iPad tired right now. My iPad like, bro, whole day we going. Principal by rate by time, and I was doing a lot of work on it today, marking papers, posting stuff and stuff like that. For school, principal by rate by time, principal 500, rate 8%, time 4 years 100, and this here will give us our simple interest. Calculator time to shine, my brother. So you could put in the whole thing if you want, like this: 500 times 8 times 4 over 100 equal 160. So what Christian gave me there is cool. I mean, it's wrong, but I'm blocking. Calculator blocking now. It's cool in terms of that this is the simple interest. So the total amount owed, it means he actually has to pay back now. If he didn't start paying yet, he has to start paying back the 500. Remember, amount is the principal plus the simple interest. So come across there, my brother. Let's make room for amount. Remember the amount. Remember the amount is actually the principal plus the simple interest. So it's 500 plus the 160. So that is how in the end you're going to get 660 as the total amount. So any questions there? I guess we can do a question. It says, yeah, it was correct if they asked for the amount. It was correct if they asked for the amount. So that's like the first idea there. The chances of a question coming just like this, straight up like this for CXC, I don't think they could bring it so simple. They will ask you more in-depth stuff. But obviously I need to know this to be able to do it. Alright, so let's squeeze in the next question. Find. So since everything's sticking, let's as well stick to you, brother. Find the simple interest. Guys, I just turning this on, off, and turning it back on. Come on, bro. Simple interest on a loan, no, on an investment. So it could be a loan or investment, right? Of $16,000, where at a going rate of 3% twice VA this thing real frustrating. After so find the simple interest on an investment of 16,000 at a going rate of 3% twice per year after 4 years. So go ahead and try this question. So every time I give you a new question, I add on a little extra to it. So you want to find the simple interest on an investment of 16,000 at a going rate of 3%, calculated twice per year after 4 years. So I kind of miss how the word calculated, but twice per year carries the same idea. Okay, so that'll be like part A. What is the final sum of money after the 4 years? So after the 4 years was the final sum of money. So plenty of people getting $3,840. So let's see if that's correct. Whoa! So 19,840. Okay, yeah, that's something good. So 3% calculated twice per year. Here's the key. So simple interest is principal by rate by time over 100. Now here's what happens when you have twice per year. Sometimes they'll have biannually, which means 2 times a year, or sometimes, depending on how they write it biannually in the question, it can mean the interest is calculated once every 2 years. But I never see that actually in a CXC paper. But once or twice they might throw in a little, like the interest is twice per year. So you pay in your principal. Here what to do, Here what to do when they hit you this kind of thing. You pay in your principal, 16,000. You pay in your rate, 3. You pay in your time. Now your time here is where you should add it in. So if it's twice per year, then your time, now some teachers will tell you to put it in here. I'm not really for that. If your time is 4 years, but you're doing it twice per year, your time here should be your time here should get a multiplication of 2. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're doing it twice per year. So it should be like 4 by 2. Because it's twice per year the interest getting compounded. Not compounded, calculated. Compounded meaning it will be compound interest. And then you put that over 100. Then you let your calculator do the work. So 16,000 times 3 times 4 times 2 over 100 equal 3840. So you see that there? Good. So everybody who do that, get through. Now if you have your way that floats your boat where you put the 2 here and you visualize it like that, that's great. Now basically when they ask you for the sum, they're asking you for the amount again. So the amount is going to be equal to the amount is going to be equal to the principal plus the simple interest, 16,000 plus 3840, and people are saying that this is 19840. Yeah, so that's correct. I squeeze in the dollar sign there. Right, so what if you multiply the 3 by 2? Would that be wrong? No, that would be wrong. Right, so that's simple interest as you see that there. So now what about if we get a question like this? Find the rate on a loan if after 3 years Derek paid $4,280 in interest on a $25,000 loan. So find the rate on a loan if after 3 years Derek paid $4,280 in interest and the loan was $25,000. Alright, boys and girls, let's see who pops out with this one first. So the key here is that they're not asking us for simple interest anymore, they're asking us for rate. So essentially you're going to pop back out equation boss people. You could just use this equation, or you could use this equation, fill in what you have and find the missing one, rearranging. Right, so I've seen Danny gain 194.65. What? Find the rate of the loan if after 3 years Derek paid that amount in interest on it. The answer not correct. First to begin with, the rate is a percentage. The rate is a percentage. So we're trying to look for a percentage between 8 and 15. How I do that there, I'm not too sure I get a percentage. I might get a lowish percentage. Might be under 8. I'm looking for a percentage. And the rate is a percent, so your answer is going to be a percent. Why people getting these answers for? Find the rate on a loan if after 3 years Derek paid that amount in interest. And the loan. I'm going to wait and see if one more person can answer that song and more reasonable. These answers wild, man. 5.7% windscreen company, I forget your name. Alright, so 5.7% song and sweet. That song and like it day. That song and like it day. So you could just use the formula as a matter of fact. Rate principal by it's always going to be SI times 100 divided by the other two guys. So principal by time. Principal by time. So this is going to be the simple interest that he got was 4280 multiplied by 100 divided by principal was 25,000 multiplied by the time is 4 years. Put that in your calculator. Calculator, do your thing. Bam. Bam, bam. Come around here, my boy. So fraction up them. 4280 multiplied by 100 divided by 25,123 multiply by 4 equals that. To get the decimal, press this. Why am I getting a different number than the board than the people? 4280 25,000 times 4. There's 3 years. Oh, it's 3 years. Sorry. My bad. 3 years. 3 years. Transcription error. So this is going to be equal to that. Decimal down that. 5.70. 5.70. Alright. Approximately 6. I want some kind of approximation thing here, right? Oh no, it's 5.70. 66666. So that's this 5. But normally a percentage given to one decimal place. So normally when you're doing percent is one decimal place. 3 significant figures, one decimal place. So 5.71 would not be bad as well if you put that. I'm getting that. No, well, then you're typing in the wrong thing in the calculator. I'm also getting 51. Are you typing in this in the calculator? Because I mean, I just type it in, right? Oh, shucks. Calculator, phase out. Right. Come back. Right. So, yeah, yes, you literally see me just type it in and press equal. My calculator not giving me any of those answers. Y'all do the whole exact thing like this. You put it in brackets. Make sure your numerator and your denominator in brackets, sir. Okay. Let me not put it in brackets and see what will happen. 4280 times 100 divided by 21123 multiplied by 3. Say I get 61 when I do that. If the first one in brackets, still getting that 61. If I put both of them in brackets now, bam, all of a sudden I get the correct answer. 4280 times 100, 21,000 times 3 or 4 times 3 divide 25,000. It's 25. Yeah, I need to write better, boy. Right, so you get the correct answer. Just make sure your brackets down your thing properly, right? If you don't put like brackets here when you're doing it on the sharp calculator and thing, you'll run into problems. Big problems. Alright, let's don't waste no time. Let's do our next question. Find. So we're gonna be a little more. This one is gonna be a little more tough. Find the principal for invested if this question kind of back to front because I think of the question after find the principal invested Paul invested if he receives if he receives 3800 interest after 6 years at a rate, geez, an ages boy. At a rate, I might have to turn my iPad on for a second, of 7% per annum. At a rate of 7% per annum. That is part A. So find the principal Paul invested if he receives so much interest after 6 years at a rate of 7% per annum. What is the total value of his investment? Let's switch the years now. After 10 years. So part B. So this is more like a question that you could get asked, CDB, jump out with the answer there already, find the principal. Right, Danny seconds that answer. So had to be correct. 2 people get the same thing. That'll be a day. Right. So while the rest of you all waiting for that answer, I just going to do a quick restart here. Wipe down the screen. Shima coming through with the same answer too. That's part A. Let's see if you all get the answer for part B. We're coming up to halfway mark in the class. People who having problems to do your homework, people who getting problems to do your homework, please do your homework. Now I notice there's a strong correlation between people who already repeat or people who do it privately. Those people do their homework more than, there are some repeaters who are not doing their homework more than students who are in school. So students who in Form 5 are not really doing your homework. I feel attacked. Some of you all not doing your homework, and the homework is the key now. I would say the homework more important than this 2 hours here. About the same. The 2 hours I really drop some knowledge. But doing the homework and getting that after practice and seeing I take my time and come up with some questions that look like the exam and what really, test how much you know. So do your homework. Try your best to do your homework. I find the amount of people doing their homework is pretty high for a class. Normally a class, lessons class, a class in school, normally like about 60% are trying to do their homework. In the lessons class, it must be 70% of the active people do their homework. But it could still be better. Some people need to do their homework. Fight up and do your homework. Do it wrong, send it up. Pretty soon I'll have people correcting your homework personally for you. So you always get the solutions on Sunday afternoon, evening. You always get the solutions, so you could compare and work along with your homework, and that is where you learn to fish. Right now I'm giving you a fish here. I'm cooking the fish, I'm breaking it down, and you're getting shark and bake here. But the only time you really learn maths is when you go and catch the shark and you make your own bake, you understand? You need to learn to fish. Doing the homework is learning to fish. Find the principle. I'm not getting this everything, blah 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 blah. So I didn't see no second answer though. Oh yeah, the big did put a second answer. Windscreen company did put an answer, so we get a little different answers. Check my answer there. Yeah, I see it. If you type a comment and it didn't show up, sometimes Google is blocked certain comments that are looking fishy. Alright, so let's just do this. The principle. Remember, I could be spelling principle wrong all the time here, but fair for that. Simple interest times 100 over rate by time. Simple interest times 100. Remember, this is the formula I could use. By the way, you could use the simple interest formula and plug it into whatever float your boat. If anybody doing that, you can let me know. Times 100 over rate by time. The rate it was 7%. It had no funny business. Always look for the per annum to make sure no funny business happening. Time was 6. Put that in there. Calculator. You go, boy. And wait, come across here, my friend. Alright, so open up, bam, to the 800, multiply, and I hope you all get in your hand on this calculator. One or two people have it. I hope the number increasing, especially by the time September reach. So this answer here is 9047. This is where everybody getting 0.62 dollars. So yeah, you normally with dollars you normally stop on the second decimal, because after that it didn't really make no sense, literally and figuratively, to go on to the third decimal, right? Because remember the cents, this is 62 cents. It's going to half a cent. We do operate so. In fact, 1 cent in with nothing right now. The spelling correct, right? Cool. My sharp calculator is a balls thing, that. Right, so, and this is just fancy words for amount. So total value and investment mean the amount, which is the principal plus the simple interest. Principal, we just find that was 9047.62 plus the interest 3800, and Jamar answer day boy. Total, oh sorry, my bad, big mistake, partner. Say calculator blocking. Good thing my calculator was blocking because I was doing crap. Yeah, so if you read the question, you see this mystery, this part here, 10 years. So Jamar, yeah, answer probably correct, right? So we find the principal. So now the simple interest is going to be, we need to find over the new simple interest, because this one is 10 years. So the simple interest is going to be principal by rate by time over 100. By time over 100. Principal by rate by time over 100. You plug in your principal, which you just got. What was earlier? 9047.62. 0.62 times the rate was, well, the rate will remain the same. 7 times 10 years now. 7 times 10 is 70 over 100. You get your new simple interest, and you can tell me what that value. So when you have to find the amount, why you don't just multiply 9047.62 by 10? Because this is the principal. This is not the interest. This is the principal. If we had find the interest already, we could have just, like the interest for 1 year or something, we could have do some multiplication like that. Or multiplying the principal by 10 is doing scary things. Right? So can you give us another example like this one? I'm still a little fuzzy. No problem. So after this one you get an next example. But first let me just see over what happened here. We were asked to find the principal. We find the principal using this formula, because there are formulas for each one, right? So we find the principal using this formula. Once we find the principal, they asked us again in part B to find the total investment, but they didn't ask for, this initial part was 6 years. Now they're asking for 10 years. So it means to find the whole investment, you need to find the simple interest and the principal. So what if they ask it like the first question you gave us? The first question. Find the simple interest accrued of the rate. Right, well, here's the simple interest. Just straight up simple interest, and they give you everything here and they just plug it into the formula and we add on the amount. That's basically what we're doing here, you know. This is like if they ask us what is the simple interest, but they didn't ask the simple interest, that's the amount. What is the total value? In other words, what's the amount after 10 years? So the amount after 10 years, you go ahead and find the simple interest, and people like they're telling me the simple interest is 6,633.33, but that's the simple interest. Hopefully that's the simple interest that I mean there. We need to find the amount. So the amount is gonna be principal plus the simple interest. The principal plus the simple interest. So the principal plus the simple interest. And what do you get for that? So the beat that I'm not correct. Principal you seem to have multitasking just as well. Multitasking just now, my iPad sending my message. Multitasking just doesn't interfere with both the good point style as palm rejection and your risk at when this go to the general. Okay, whatever. So this plus that is actually it. So that value that everybody getting there, I'll just put it in 380.9. So we want the next question. We want the next question to test our skills on this. 1 hour has passed, so we just have 1 more hour again, and we still have a lot to do. So I'm just going to give you our next question on this, and then we're going on into the good joys of compound interest. Find John invested $100,000 in the bank. If the rate is 4% per annum, if the rate is 4% per annum, how long? This question is pretty tough, right? So only the strong will survive this question. How long will it take for John? Everybody going to make one mistake in this question. To have a final value let me use it with value. Final value of $200,000 in the you don't use such a big number, you'll get a ridiculous answer. $120,000 in the bank. So let me just repeat the question if you can't read my lovely handwriting there. Jeez, this stylus and this iPad still gave me trouble, boy. So John invested 100,000 in the bank. If the rate is 4% per annum, how long will it take for John to have a final value of $120,000 in the bank? So go ahead. You done. I lost. I didn't give up. Long one. Long. See, take win. So read it again. Somebody say 5 years. Wow, we get 3 already. 4% thing. 5 years. Jamar, you getting on real bad, brother. Because Jamar had get the answer up here earlier, ain't? Yes, Jamar doing it big, boy. MVP this class. Alright, so yeah. That look like the answer from basically from what I've seen here. That looking like the answer. Jamar, explain to me, please. Hello. 5 years. Kemi, well done. Thomas. Well, unless you just copy Jamar answer. But I don't think you do that. Alright, so how did you get those answers? So let's talk about it and you'll see if you can figure it out here. John invested 100,000 in the bank. I see principal, 100,000. Rate 4%. How long? We don't know the time because they're asking me. How long will it take for John to have a final value of 120,000 in the bank? So as soon as you see we don't know the time, you start to drop back to this equation here now. We have an equation for time. The only problem is, you know what else we don't know? Well done, Chamar. That's a good explanation. What else we don't know here is the simple interest. They never tell us about the simple interest. Do we know the simple interest in this? No. But we could use a formula to figure out what the simple interest is here. Because this is the final value, this is the amount, and this is the principal. If you have the amount and the principal, you could find out how much is the interest. Right, that's the mental arithmetic. Now this question, because this question have a kind of mental arithmetic in it, this question could come for like a multiple choice. And I've seen questions like this come for multiple choice, where you could actually do it in your mind, right? So the interest here is going to be the total interest here is going to be 20,000. When you take away the amount from the principal, you get 20,000 as the total interest. So now we have the interest, we have the principal, we have the rate. We can find the time using the equation. So you set up your amount. Amount is equal to it's not amount we want to find the simple interest. Sorry, the simple interest is equal to the amount minus the principal. Somebody say I'm spelling incorrect, so good. 1200 000 minus 100 000 000. Oh gosh, work now by. This is going to be equal to 20,000. So that's the simple interest. That's the extra, the interest. And now we can find the time, because the time is simple interest times 100 over principal by rate. This is going to be 20,000 times 100. But the principal was 100,000 times the rate was 4. So basically you'll get some zeros cancelling off here. Bap, 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 bap. So it's basically 4 into 20, which is 5 years. I don't understand. Okay, so what don't you understand? So So if you don't understand something here specifically, tell me which part of it you don't understand. Because this is the last question we're doing on simple interest for now, and we're going on into compound interest. So if you don't understand, don't stick. Tell me specifically what you don't understand. Telling me you don't understand really help. Yeah, tell me specifically where you don't understand. Ask like, why did you do this like this? Or where this number come out from? Or why is this like this? Or shouldn't you have done this like this? Those are the kind of questions that help you to learn. Or what about if I do this? Why 20,000 is the amount, and why the principal is, the amount isn't 20,000, the amount is 120,000. There's a 1 there, right? 120,000 is the actual amount. The amount is the final figure. So for John to have a final value of that, that's the amount. The amount is 120,000. Oh, so yeah, the amount is that because that's the final value in the bank. The amount is how much is the ending after the interest get taken away or add on. That's the amount. Sometimes the amount could be less if your interest subtracting, like if it's depreciating, right? So yeah, the amount is the final figure after you deal with the interest on the principal. That is the amount. So usually you're adding the interest to the principal. So the principal was 100,000. That is how much he invested at the start. So he come to the bank and give them 100,000, and every year they're actually giving him more money just because he had that there. A small percent, 4%. That is realistic. Maybe as a credit union, every year they're giving him a little extra. So after 4 years, no, after 5 years, well, we had to find out that, right? So what they tell us in the question is every year they're going to give him 4% extra. Every single year he's going to get 4% extra on that 100,000, right? So any other questions on this? I think that you see how asking a question and it gets me to explain exactly where. So why do you have simple interest is equal to amount minus principal? All right, so this is a given formula, because how interest works, you come into the bank, drawing skills and I come out here. You come into the bank, right? Bank. So you come into the bank and you give them some money. That box represents your money. Now the interest is going to be a little extra on top of the money after a little while. The total amount of money you'll have is about this amount, right? I just matching that, the total amount of money. So in other words, the total amount of money is equal to the principal take away. Understand your question clearly now. Amount the principal take away the principal plus the simple interest, right? So you say, why didn't we say simple interest is equal to principal by rate by time over 100? Because that's not going to help, because we don't know the time. They ask us how long, so we can't find the simple interest using that formula. So you could only find this. In fact, we're trying to find the simple interest so that we could find the time. It's like when you, let me just say this, 95% of people in maths usually could figure out something if you have one formula, one thing you're trying to find. The second you tell them you're trying to find one thing to find a next thing and put it in a next formula, that is where everything starts to go haywire. So you need to get accustomed, Jody. You need to get accustomed with working like that. We're trying to find the simple interest because we want to find the simple interest to use that value and plug it in here and then find the time. So how you get simple interest is amount minus principal. So that's the same question. So the amount is equal to the principal plus the simple interest, right? Remember we said that here, and nobody said anything, so I feel like everybody understood that. The amount is equal to the simple interest plus the principal. So the simple interest will be equal to the amount take away the principal. Maths, right? The simple interest is the extra. The extra will be equal to the amount minus the principal. Okay, let me just do a quick thing here to see. I don't mind spending some time to explain. So let's say the amount, let's say the simple interest was $10. No, let's say the principal. You come to the bank with $10 and they give you $2 extra. So it means in the end, how much money you're going to have? $12. Imagine now if we did not know the simple interest. If we didn't know the simple interest, but we know the amount and the principal, how are you going to find out how much extra the bank gave you? If you find out, if you see that you have 12, at the end of the day you got 12, but you put in 10, how are you going to find out how much extra the bank gave you? You use the formula that says simple interest is the amount take away the principal. Right? Where 12 take away 10 and you get back here 2. So it means that the bank gave you an interest of $2. Yes, transpose. So simple interest is the amount take away the principal. So the amount was this big amount take away the principal. We find the simple interest here. And when we find the simple interest here, this value now we could use it back into this formula to find the time. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to find how long. In other words, time. And you see how long, we're trying to find time. This is a CXC question that could come. So once we find the time, we find the answer here. By the way, it's actually a mental question, because you could take away this in your mind and get 20,000. Then you could realize that 4% of 20,000. Any more questions? Ready to go to compound interest? Let's just take some compound interest. As I always say, maths is so much fun. When you just begin to think you're grasping something else, boom, here comes something to blow down everything. And compound interest is going to be like that. I'll try my best to explain the concept. So compound interest. This is how the real world works. Compound interest. Compound interest is the thing that made Warren Buffett, the richest, second or third richest guy in the world, rich. Compound interest, right? Investments. How does it work? It's like this. The simple interest, I'll explain simple interest first again. Simple interest, you come in with this amount in the bank. I'm going to show you the way to cheat and do compound interest in, not cheat, but to do compound interest in CXC. Now let's look at simple interest. This is the principal. You put in this. After the first year, they're going to add a little bit onto it. What is that little bit called? What is that little bit called that they add onto your principal? That little bit in red. After the second year, remember you still have the little bit from the first year. They add on the same thing again, the same value. They add it on again. What is that called? Because remember the little box here represents your principal, and every year they add on a little something to it. What is that called? That's called the interest. Yes. And in the third year, you see what happening here? Now let's change this to money. Remember we was using the $10 and $2 example. If you came to the bank with $10, you came in with $10. Right? I'm trying to write 10 for the longest while here. You come in with $10. Wait, so what really going on here, right? You come in with $10. Is it the casing? after the first year, how much money you're going to have? We say we are adding on 2. So 12, understand? 10 plus 2. This year you'll have the 12 plus 2, 14. You're just adding on the same 2. So this will be 14, this will be 16, 18. Every year you're adding on 2. In the real world, it does not work like that. That's simple interest. We don't really have simple interest situations in the real world. What we have is something called compound interest. So simple interest always takes its value from the principal. It gets the interest from the principal. Start a GoFundMe to upgrade and Apple products. But the don't do that. The compound interest. Let me show you what happens with the compound interest. Compound interest is even more beautiful. Compound interest, actually, the first year you get the little bit add-on. You get a little bit add-on here. The second year, I think is there something tripping off on my screen right now. But it was working perfectly in maths class, well, perfectly for the first piece of maths class. The second year, remember you have this from before, right? This interest from before. Okay, I don't want to lose here. Remember in simple interest, you're adding on little pieces every year. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 10, 12, 14, going up like that. Compound interest, something strange happens. The first year you have that 12. The second year, they're going to compound the interest. They're going to use that word, compound the interest. What does that mean? They're going to work back the interest over again. So it's not going to be 2 this time. It's going to be a little extra, because this new amount, this new 12, becomes the new principal. So it's like they're working out interest for this whole big box now. So they're going to add on a little more than before. The next year, remember we had this now. They're not going to add on 2, and they're not going to add on the little, let me say they add on 3 here. Let me say this to 12 plus 3 is 15. They're actually going to compound the interest again and add on more than before. So you're going to turn to like 19. Compound interest keeps working back out the interest every year. So it's like the first year will be 2 and the second year will be like 4. Yeah, just like that. But the number will always work out to 2 and 4, right? But just like that same concept. So every year the interest going up. And that is how it works in the real world. If you have a loan, if you have a loan and you're not paying it back properly, the interest starts to climb on top of itself. It means every time it's compounding and it's going, they're basically adding in the interest. Yes, very good. They're adding in the interest into the principal and recalculating it. Why are they doing that? Because it makes perfect sense to do that. Because in reality, that principal long gone. For example, if I put $100,000 into the bank, this is how it works. So you all need to understand this, because sometimes you might be dealing with credit union and think, next thing you come across some big money and they pay need money. You need to understand how this works. Let's say you put in $100,000 into the credit union and they pay dividends, which is basically like interest. They pay dividends and you get, let me just write the numbers. Some people like to see numbers. So I had $100,000 in the credit union at 1 year. They pay in interest, and the interest turns out to be, I'm just saying, yeah, banks are real shady. So you pay they pay $20,000, and all of a sudden the next year, instead of, it doesn't be so much, but the next year I have $120,000, because I started off with $100,000. They gave me an interest of 20%, which is insane. You do not get an interest of 20%. But let's say they give me an interest of 20%. That means, bam, I get $20,000 on top of my money. So, my money is now $120,000. That's cool. But here's where it's going to get really good. They're going to find back 20% on this money now. It's starting over. Every year you have to work it out. Yes, you understand it now, Christian. Every year you have to work it out. So this year, it come like if I come in fresh with $120,000 now. And if you work out 20% of $120,000 on the calculator, here, show up my boy, 20% of that. So I could just say 0.2 times 120,123. That's 20%. Is actually a little more. It's actually 24. It's actually 24,000. So instead of getting 20,000, I'm actually, since I have more money, they paid me more money. Since I come in at 120 now, they're actually going to add on 24,000. So now my new money on my third year, I'm on $144,000. And if you think that was good, it's going to get even better because the interest is going to compound again. So they're going to work out 20% of this again. So 20% of that, let's change this. Delete 44. Bam. Is actually 28,800. It means every year it's adding up. And compound interest works like this. Let's make a graph. I started off with a little. With my 100,000, I add on after the year. I add on, and it starts to really climb. Afterwards, it only takes a certain amount of years, and you would have doubled how much money you had. So compound interest is great, and those investors and things like Warren Buffett and stuff, that's how they make their killing. And people who trying to sell you in them things like forex trading and things talk to you in terms of compound interest and stuff like that, but it's not as easy as they try to make it out to be. So yeah, so that's compound interest. So now how will CXC test you on this? Because this can get damn complicated. So how will CXC test you on this? CXC normally only goes up to 2 years. What do I mean by 2 years? They'll only ask you what is the compound interest after 2 years, which means you have two calculations to do. Do you know there is a compound interest formula? I'm not going to show you the formula now. I want you to research the formula so you can get frightened by yourself. Right? Research the formula. Now some people use the formula. The formula is accepted for CXC, but I'm not going to show you the formula because it's simpler and less stressful, less mistake prone to just use the method that I'm going to show you, where you just do this simple interest twice. Remember, when you're doing compound interest, it's like you're working out the interest every year. You're working out the interest fresh every year. Right, so let's check it out. Let's check out a question in this. I snapped a past paper question. Let me see if I can pull up a past paper question in this here. Mr. Past paper question, where are you? Like I can't find the past paper question. Nah, so I only have a simple interest question. Of the depreciation. Just a second there, folks. That the interest. I swear I see compound interest, you know. Right, so yeah, it was compound interest question. Yeah, so I found it. Let's look up this compound. Let's try this compound interest question here. It's pretty simple. I'm showing you how straightforward CXC brings compound interest. Alright, so there's the question here. kind of cut up the question. See if I can get it to fit a little better. So we're not looking at the first part, we're just looking at the compound interest part of the question. So a credit union pays 8% per annum compound interest on all fixed deposits. Well done, Ree. That is the formula. That's the compound interest formula. But there's a little part in that formula missing, but that's the formula that they normally use for CXC. I think it's given to. Right? So a credit union pays 8% per annum compound interest on all fixed deposits. A customer deposited $24,000 in the account, calculate the total amount of money in the account at the end of 2 years. So if you feel like you can do it, go ahead and do it. I'm going to start the question in two minutes or so. I wanted to get to this as well today, but looks like I might not make. But we should definitely finish compound interest, simple interest, and appreciation and depreciation. So I want to get in that appreciation and depreciation. Appreciation and depreciation is relatively simple. It's like kind of like compound interest mixed with taxes kind of way. So a credit union pays 8% per annum compound interest on all fixed deposits. A customer deposits $24,000 in an account. Calculate total amount of money in the account at the end of 2 years. How to even start this question, boy? Like you might be saying to yourself. That's what you can be saying to yourself, right? Here's how you start. So you could think of it in terms of work out the interest for every year. Well done, Jamar. Work out. Man, come to take all the medals this class. Work out. The interest. Alia? Alright. We start back working every year. iPad doing what it wants right now. Every year. So that's the tip there. We call the interest every year. So you can think of it in terms of simple interest. You know, you need to think too much in terms of simple interest for this. I'll just do the straightforward way. I think we need Jamar, brain Jamar. So 8% per annum compound interest on all fixed deposits. 8% per annum. Alright, what they asked was the total amount. So I'll use the simple interest formula, although this is an overkill because I can just work out the interest. Principal by rate by time over 100. So let's do the first year. If it's the first year, how long is the time? If it's the first year, remember the principal is 24,000, sorry. The rate is 8%. And if it's just 1 year pass, the time is 1 over 100. So this means the simple interest is going to be, and you work that out in your calculator. I'm just going to work it out on this calculator here because the semen work out a good few already. This is just going to be 1920. So this means the amount after the first year, and this is the exact working that you want to do for me. Alright, Jamar, make sure you're doing this working and not arithmetic working. Unless you use the formula. You can use the formula to one time and good to go. Once you use the formula correctly, amount is equal to all your getting problems, right? Simple interest plus principal 1920 plus the 20, was it 5, 24,000. So this is 25920. But it's not really the answer. This is just the first step. So you just found the amount after the first year. So the second year now, I'm going to do this in black. For the second year, your new simple interest, that is year right there. You just break it up and everything. The second year is going to be principal by rate by time. Rate by time over 100. Now Christian said something. You're just doing the same thing every year? Yes. But the only trick is that you have a new principal now. No? You can't use back the same 2500. You have to use the new amount now. Because you have to compound the interest. That way it comes. So you have to use back that value. And you use back the, where it was, 4, 8. And now here's the next mistake that people do. They say since it's the second year, put 2. No, only 1 year passing every time. So it's only 1 by 1 by 1. So it's like that. So you just put 1 there. Even though you're in the second year, from the first year to the second year is only 1 year. From the end of the first year to the end of the second year is only 1 year. You do that, you get your simple interest. 27920 times 8. And this new interest is 2,200.6. And so is this your answer? No, because you need to come now, take this value, because this is the interest after the second year, and add it to your new principal. Then the amount is equal to the simple interest plus the principal. Remember that amount is equal to simple interest plus the principal, which is, and the question is with 4 marks, so this is equivalent to 4 marks of working. 25920. Whoa. After I give only one question here, I might close off. 25920. If I'm still struggling. And 2233.6. 2233.6. And you get this. I might actually need to bust the bank and go and go and buy a new iPad. Jano Star. Alright, so plus 25920, and you get the answer that everybody get in there. That's nice. I don't think I may have made a mistake in my calculation. Let me just double check this. 25920. Yeah, this was wrong. 2073.6. How did I get the other answer? I must have typed the wrong thing. 2073.6. Yeah, that's correct. 2073.6 plus 25920, and you should get 27993.60. Alright, so let's do a question and let's see how much of you all will get it out. If Jamar will get he'll be the only man standing again. Let's see. Alright, so we are doing compound interest. Jesus Christ, Lord, let me help just restart this to get to be able to write, please. Screen really going through. Now the fun thing is I have another iPad here, so for next week I should yeah, I probably don't need to buy another iPad, but that's not mine. I have no iPhone, so I'm gonna get the licks now. Alright, so find the amount. Yeah, but I gotta start using the iPad next week. The amount That is money earlier. On an investment. Jesus. Hey. I gotta write it big. Investment of so find the amount of money someone will have on an investment of let's make it $55,367. Let's say they come in with that exact amount of money. After, as I said, they wouldn't go past 2 years. After 2 years, at 5% compounded annually. So if they use this word compounded, they mean compound interest. Compounded annually. So this is basically the same as the last question. I don't usually like asking the same question twice. Always switch it up a little bit. Never keep you comfortable. Always keep your mind thinking, especially since it's not a rote exam now. But this is basically like the last question. The funny thing with these questions is that they just give you two values and they show people off one time. You just get one value and the next value, and then you have to work out a whole set of thing. So how do you do that? So let me see. Good luck. Come on, Jill, you can get this. So I had a pure maths class, pure maths and ad maths class that. I had a pure maths class yesterday. The pure maths class was real vibes. You could feel free to send your work in the group. There are two groups. There's a group with a red dot and a group with a blue dot. Jamar jump out with 61. CMAS same thing, 61042.1. 2. Yeah. So 92. So we have a little difference there. Maybe approximate something. Maybe approximate something from before now. So that is happening. Like if you approximate some value from before, like you cut out some points from the value, like after you do your calculation for the first year, you pull out some of the values from before. Somebody was sick. Whoa. Oh, delete submissions. Sorry about that, Kerry, and I don't know if you're in the chat. If you're in the live right now. So yeah, so sometimes you're trying not to approximate, but I don't have a group with the red dot. Yeah, so some of you will be in the CXC Maths online and you see a computer screen and you see a blue dot, or some of you will see CXC Maths online and you see a computer screen and a red dot. I just separate the groups because two large groups, too much messages in one group, and we don't get messages in the middle of the night and things sometimes. So, alright. Let's do this quickly and get it out of the way. Find the amount of money. So you do your same working. So I'm just going to speed up the working. For first year, I'm just going to do a new style of working here. For first year, the person will have it's going to be 105 over 100 multiply by the amount of money, and I talked about this when we were in class last week. So instead of finding out the 5% and doing the whole simple interest and all that run wrong thing, I'm just going to work out 105% of that, and that's going to give me the value after the first year. As simple as that. Right? This working is accepted as well. 105 over 100 multiply by 55367. Hold on, I just need to respond to this message. Right, so what value you get in the beginning? You get 58135.5 come on, 35. So type y in the chat if you understand this shortcut method that I used here. So that is how much in the first year. So instead of finding out 5%, then adding it on, I find out the whole 105% one time. So this is how much in the first year, right? If you remember before, look how my writing looking. If you remember before, I worked out the interest, the simple interest, and then I add it on to the amount. Essentially, what I'm doing is working out 8%, 8 over 100, and then adding it on to 100%, which means I'm just working out the whole percentage here, 105. Right? So now I do the same thing. Second year it's going to be 105% again, but instead of using this value, what value am I going to use? I'm going to use this value here. That was supposed to be an error earlier. So 58135.35. I don't get it yet, so alright. And this value should give me 61042.117, so that is $12. So that is what most people get. Yes, most people got that. So I'm not in no group. So how you can not be in any group, but you get the link to the live. Marcia. What? So you're not in any group, but you have the link to the live? Dun 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 dun. The plot thickens. Marcia Johnson. So how you know to come online then? Because I only send the link in the red and blue maths group for people registered for the maths class. Who said they don't understand? Yes, I'm in the chat. No. Kawaii. Who feeling attacked? Alright, yeah, so what going on here? This is another method. If you're not too comfortable with this method and you're comfortable with this method, use it like this. Where I get the 105. Alright, so it's 5%, right? Every year. So therefore, the value I have after the ending of the year would be the 5% plus the 100%, because you had 100% before. So at the ending of the year, what you have is 105%. And the compound interest formula builds its concept from that. If you search up and you see what the person put as the compound interest formula, it's 1 plus R over N. It's 1 plus the rate. That one stands for 100. Yeah. So it's 105%. And since it's percentage rate over 100 multiplied by the initial value, you get the value for the first year. And you do it like that. So you can do it like this way or the next way. I normally advise students to do it the first way, so you can understand everything and you can list out everything, and the examiner could be like, nice, right? So the 3 ways to do it, or you can do it like the formula as well. The formula, I'm not going to even teach that. I don't really appreciate the formula method too much, because I have little problems that has come up with the formula method. For maths class, I kind of teach the formula method, but I still advise to know the other methods. For add maths, you need to know the formula method for certain things. So good. Let's talk a little bit about appreciation and depreciation, and we call that George. Appreciation. This have nothing to do with appreciating people. Appreciation. Cheese and ages. I feel I had to call it George from here, so you know. Alright, I just need to write big from now on. Anytime I write in small, this thing. So I will have to probably revisit this topic, but I want to talk about it first, at least, so you can get the concept out of the way. So appreciation and depreciation. What you all think appreciation and depreciation means? Appreciation and depreciation. You don't have to use the formula. What does appreciation and depreciation mean? So let's give an example of depreciation, because that's the one. Yes, very good. Reducing the value every year. I like this shortcut. Yeah, the shortcut suite. And that shortcut plays out a lot in consumer arithmetic, as I was showing you last week. That adding on the percent and working it out one time, cost price, selling price, interest, tax, blah blah. That kind of technique comes in a lot. So appreciation, the value goes up. For example, okay, let's talk about appreciation then. Let's say you bought a painting. Right? So you buy this painting and you hang it up. And you paid, next thing is a classic work of art like what I just do there. So you buy the painting for $1.5 million. Yeah, you're rich now. And you hang that up on your wall there. After 20 years, when they revalue that, once you keep it in good condition, that thing must be worth $3 million now, because it's gone up. It's artists, you know, so it appreciate. So that is something that could appreciate in value. You know, is the next thing could appreciate in value in Trinidad? You know, we fight over this. What's the next thing that appreciates in value? If you buy a lot of land, so there's a road here now. Let's say you buy this lot of land for 200, and let's say back in the days, my parents then buy the place there on there. How much you pay for that? Boy? I can't remember how much you pay for that. But that was in 2000, after 2000. Let's say they buy that for $20,000. You know how much of that property right now, right? So real estate appreciates in value. You pay $20,000 for that. And 20 years pass, partner. All of a sudden, the thing is $500,000 for the land alone, right? Because you fill it up, amenities come in, utilities come in, whatever. Land appreciates in value. Nearly everything else depreciates. So land appreciates, sometimes art appreciates. You don't really get much more things that go up in value. Things that could go up in value could be like human resource. Like the longer somebody stays in your company, the more value they add to you. Usually once the person bring in value, watches, once you keep it good. Wine. So some things that appreciates could be like wine, real estate. Gold kind of stays steady in value, right? Throughout the years. This amount of gold with the same amount of value in terms of money, because the money looks like it going up, but when you check it out, where you call that boy? I forget the way just slipping me. Because of inflation, the gold prices generally is the same. So gold is not like it worth more. Like a piece of gold back in the days worth the same as a piece of gold now. Precious stones and those kind of things worth the same. The value is artificially inflated by trying to create demand. Like there's lots of diamonds in the market, but one company have like a good grip of it, so they kind of don't allow the market to get flooded with diamonds, so that they could keep the price artificially high. So good things to know that appreciators would be like wine, real estate. What's the first one that I said? Art. right, at human resource, stuff like that would appreciate. A country's economy once they under good leadership supposed to appreciate and stuff like that. Right, but almost everything else depreciates. Anything you buy, from the second you buy it, it starts to depreciate in value. From the second you buy anything, the value starts to go down, and some of them dip really quickly. One of the fastest depreciating things is cars. You could buy a car for 200,000 today, and to sell that back for 200,000 would be nearly impossible tomorrow, right? From the second you buy it, it drops in value. From the second it's bought. So vehicles drop in value, and most of CXC questions are on cars dropping in value. Showroom cars especially are correct, Kemi, because like if you buy a car second hand, and you could probably sell it back the next day the same price, because it doesn't depreciate down to a value where it ain't really bubbling too much, right? In fact, you could probably fix it up and paint it over and you could flip the car and get more on the car, so you actually appreciate the car. But like if you buy a showroom car, from the second you buy that for the high price that Lifestyle Motors or whoever selling it for, it goes down, right? So appreciation and depreciation is that. You understand the concept of that. Now in mathematics, you just need to know how to work out little problems involving it. So like if they tell you Frankie, and I write in big, and I still getting problems. The minute I start to write a question is when the thing is really mess up in it. Like it ain't one of more questions, boy. Alright, so let me say Frank, he got he buy a car. Let's say he buy a car for I'm trying to write the dollar sign there. We have just a couple more minutes, guys. $55,000. Let's say he bought the car for $55,000, and let's say they'll normally give it in terms of year. Every year, so we're just going to talk about this next, and then next week I'll either have a new iPad or I'll be using the other iPad. Every year, let's say every year the price falls by 5%. Every year the value of the car falls by 5%. What? And remember the technique I just show you with adding on, you're using the same technique here in reverse. So what is the value after 2 years? I say CXC generally does not go past 2 years with compound interest, and with appreciation and depreciation they could sometimes take it to a further year, but they generally don't go past that 3 years too. Never past 3 years, for sure, right? So what is the value after 2 years in the car? So if the car dropping 5% every year, what is the value of the car after 2 years? That's depreciation. Appreciation would work in the opposite direction, right? So every year it would be going up by 5%. So this is the kind of question you could get for CXC. Homework gonna be easy. Alright. I do something quick. Well, that number is not correct, because I could just watch 5% of 50,000 is 2,500, and if I take away 2,500, it is supposed to get an answer like somewhere around 50,000. Give or take a couple thousand. So that car price dropped down too strong nearby. That car price dropped down too strong. Easy, she said. So Jamar, of course, man, of course, Jamar Davis. But Jamar, I don't feel like hear your name the last few weeks. Are you one of the new students that came in this week? All right. Kemi says 52. Maybe that's only 1 year I do. So Seema says 49500. So remember the technique that I showed you all. Let's see how we're gonna use that technique. So after the first year, G's and H's. After the first year, I'm trying to write year here, that's already going on. After the first year, so alright here. So after the first year, what's going to happen? Remember, it's going down 5% every year. So after the first year, the value of the car is going to actually be 95%. So you're going to multiply 95 over 100, multiply by the initial value of the car, 55000. Please imagine 55,000 there, and you get a value. So in other words, 0.95 multiply by 55000, and you get 52. And I see this number pop out in the chat just now. So this is after 1 year. Sorry about the scrappiness in the working. You need to work a little neater than how I'm working here. Actually, I'm a lot neater. In the second year now, it's going to be 95 over 100 again. The same, because it's dropping by the same thing all the time. And you why 95? Because it's dropping 5% every year. We're sticking. So if the car was 100%, how much the car would when you get it? 100%, right? But after the first year, it lost 5% of the value. So it's 95%. Now this 95% becomes the new 100% the next year. So it's going to lose that 5% again. So it's going to be 95% of the value it was that time. So that's why I get 95%. If it was appreciating, you'd add the 5%. So it's 95 times, and I'm not going to put back the same 55 here because that don't make sense. I'll need to put the value after at the ending of the first year, which would be 52250. I'm really sorry about how this coming out here, people. You see what's happening with me here. So you put that in and your answer should be 4. Right, so I see lots of correct answers there now. 637.5. Why is in the chat if you understand at least 90% of what I was taught today? We made it to the end. It was rough for me in the ending there trying to write. Very annoying. But we'll get that through. Hopefully by the end of this year, this whole room and another room I have in the house will be used. And I'll be able to use board, thing, and once and different other things to teach the class. Things will be done even better. But this is pretty good, but we could always improve. Alright, so look out for the homework. Once again, the homework will come either tomorrow evening or the day after tomorrow afternoon. If I send it the day after tomorrow afternoon, I might have to push back the deadline. Like if the homework coming Thursday too late, I'll push back the deadline for the homework. But very likely your homework will come tomorrow, please God. Depending on how fast I could put in. I just have some more marks to put in school and I'll be done for school and we'll be in the holidays. So it was a nice class. I think we covered a lot of stuff. I didn't get to do one thing that I wanted to do. What's the one thing that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do? I think it's currency conversion, which is an interesting topic. Next week we're going to be doing wages, bills, utility bills, those kind of things. Electricity, water, shopping bills. And we're going to try and wrap up consumer arithmetic. We may have to squeeze in one more day. But we're going along pretty good. After algebra, construction, everything, we should be in a gear. Look out, as I said at the start of the class, near Christmas there will be crash courses. You don't have to come through in the crash course, but it will be real. I would advise you to come through. They're like free lessons. Once you sign up to the class, you'll be allowed to be in the crash course. Once you sign up to the class that we continually have, the purpose of the crash course would be one for new students who are now coming in, because there'll be a last minute rush. And I would want to run over some stuff for the new students who are now coming in, and for the January exams, for those who are going to do the January exams, the crash course will review over some stuff and then go further into matrices, trigonometry, geometry, relations, and functions. So look out for the crash course. I'm telling you from now, look out for the crash course in the Christmas holidays. Most likely the crash course will take place just before Christmas, like on somewhere around the 1920, and then break, and then after Boxing Day. Those who do an exam in January, brace yourself. Your Christmas has been a mess. You just had it from Boxing Day. You just had like 1 week, and then boom, you're in an exam room. Right. Joy to the world for maths, right? So see you all later. Look out for the homework. Blessings.